Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL. My name is Nate. This is Mike, and as always, we're back with another Game Week video. It's Game Week 9. We're not going to talk about Game Week 8 because we're just going to move along and pretend that didn't happen. No wildcards were played with regrets. No transfers were made with regrets. No captaincy decisions were made with regrets. It went according to plan. Just kidding. Mike, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's a dark time for us here on Added Time FPL. And it's not just us, it's the rest of the world too, because everybody's suffering, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're telling me earlier how your points total was really low, but considering how low you are in the world, how much you dropped in the world, it means everybody dropped.
Yeah.
Like,
I went,
it's
for
not
those who are unaware, I went from 5,000 to 7,000. So it's not actually a bad drop considering like normally when you drop, you go like 10,000, 20,000 places.
Why did you tell everybody how many points you got, sir?
I'm convinced this is because I bragged last week. So I apologize, FPL gods. Please don't have mercy on my soul. Please have mercy on my soul. I got 27 points.
Bro, how is there more points in your age? Still,
I'm turning 27 tomorrow, so that's I got as much FPL points as my age. It's not where you want to be. It's never a good time. Mike, tell us how many points you got.
36, man. The same as the tomatoes in a bottle. 36. But it was bad, and it was bad for everybody, and it was bad for a couple of reasons, right? Honestly, this FPL season has been such a roller coaster. You have Haaland hat-tricking back to back,
and then blanking
almost
for 3 weeks.
And then 3-week blanks. It's insane.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then you have Arsenal. Like, everybody's like, Arsenal consistent, Mr. Consistent. I bring in the goalie and the defender, and bam!
Concedes and loses.
Lose to Bournemouth with a red card, a third red card.
It's just a
but you know what? If there is something that's consistent, if there is something that we can rely on, we'll talk about today. But how rubbish are Southampton and Wolves?
No, no honestly, wins. They're in the
right at the bottom of the table, and if there's anything we can at least hold on to, it's that. But let's talk. I know you don't want to.
Haaland is playing against Southampton this week. So.
Oh, we're going to talk about that definitely. Now let's talk about that. So we got teams at the top and teams at the bottom, right? And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because we got Liverpool leading the race. Are you starting to think that Liverpool is must holds for the whole season? Are you regretting not having Salah and Trent? You still have Trent? You don't have Trent anymore? You got rid. He didn't have a clean sheet, but they're staying top of the table.
Yeah, and it didn't really help.
They're staying at the top. So are you thinking that we should be moving back to Liverpool assets now that they've proven themselves worthy, or are you still waiting this week to see what they do against Arsenal?
I mentioned this to you before we jumped on to record, and I want to, but I need to not make reactive changes. And I think this goes for a lot of people out there because you think 27 points, 30 points, 40 points. Something didn't work. I need to change my team. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to change your team to a Liverpool player and they're going to lose. You're going to change your team to bring in Chris Wood and he's going to finally blank. You know what I mean? It's just that karma effect and the way FPL is. So for that reason alone, I'm not moving to Liverpool yet. However, to answer your question, I do think over the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's probably time to move back to Salah.
Yeah, especially with Saka being injured now.
It could be tactics. I'm hoping it's still tactics. I'm probably naive, but it's looking grim though because I think
I know, but we were burnt. I was like, I was conspiracy theory. Saka's gonna play after weeks and weeks of saying he's gonna be rested. He's gonna be rested. The moment I trust that he's not gonna be rested,
he's rested.
He pulls up to the injury. So I don't know, man. Injured. Something that is consistent. Talking about consistency in the game at the top is City's weak defense. They concede a goal every single game, but they
can't.
But they still somehow manage to win games. 94th, 35th minute header. They're
the old Man United because Man United used to pull stuff like that all the time under Ferguson. So maybe that's their style now. Quickly, also speaking of Man City, just for those of you wondering, Haaland has. This is the 23rd. City played their Champions League game tonight, and Haaland did score. So
double.
The drought is over. Yeah, good brace. So let's hope that he can carry on that form. But yeah.
Tell me something. A lot of people are bringing in Gvardiol. Even though City's weak defensively, but strong attacking, and he seems, the moment I took him off my team, he scored both weeks. I don't really want to think about it too much.
So annoying.
What do you think about having a City defender? You don't have any, do you?
No, I don't. Our joint team does. Our joint account has Lewis. I don't know. I don't trust. It's hard because City's goals clearly are coming from everywhere. It's either Haaland scores a hat-trick or everyone else around Haaland scores 3 goals in total. You know what I mean? Like Flip and Jorginho going to go score, or Kovacic scoring 2 goals. So with that being said, I don't trust. Well, we've just said City don't keep clean sheets, so I don't see a point in moving to City defenders for clean sheets. I'd rather go Liverpool.
The next fixtures,
Liverpool, yeah.
If you're talking about clean sheets, the next fixtures are not necessarily good fixtures for keeping clean sheets. Maybe Southampton, but then you got Bournemouth, Brighton, Spurs, and Liverpool. All of those teams can hurt you on the attack.
Yeah.
Right? Bournemouth just destroyed Arsenal's title hopes.
Yeah.
They don't count them out for anything. If we talk about the Champions League fixtures this week and how they affect everything. So Haaland started, but so did Foden.
Yeah.
There is some people moving to Foden as well as an option just for this game week because they're playing Southampton.
Yeah.
So
We spoke
something
about
to think
it.
about.
And the Foden-Haaland dynamic is really either Foden scores or Haaland scores. Just the way they play.
And Liverpool, if we talk about Liverpool and their Champions League run, Jota was rested tonight and Diaz, I think, was on the field. Nunes played, and also I think Nunes scored the only goal tonight for Liverpool. Nunes didn't really have a good game against Chelsea. It's, for me, I feel it's very difficult to trust anyone but Salah on a Liverpool point of view because I don't know who's going to play.
Yeah, because I think the week I decided to hold Jota for one more time, he was benched and Nunes started. So it's like there's that variable. Like you say, is it going to be Gakpo in starting? Is it going to be Diaz? Is it going to be Jota? Who knows? But yeah, I agree with you. It's only Salah. And I think statistically speaking, and from a logical standpoint, it's probably going to be Salah for me when I move back to Liverpool assets.
And if we talk about the top 3 teams in the league being Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, okay?
Just
we talk about the top.
Arsenal.
For now, we won't talk about Aston Villa doing really well. But just those 3 teams, if we look at the bottom, we said Wolves are a joke, Southampton are a joke. But honestly, even though they're a little bit of a head, I think the biggest joke in the Premier League is Everton. I don't know if you watched that game, Nate, because I was watching because I had Vardy in my team. But they scored 2 goals and they lost the 2-goal lead 3-2. It's insane. And it's the second time that's happened.
Yeah. Can you blame Sean Dyche? I don't know. I don't know what to take on it. It just makes me think that Wolves, Southampton, Everton, you can probably guarantee they're going to concede goals, which means you should be looking at those teams if you want to captain someone coming up from that week. So like whoever's playing against those teams, please don't captain anyone from Southampton, Wolves, and Everton. That's not what I'm saying.
But to be fair, like there's been some holes for those teams.
Yeah, like McNeil's doing his thing. Cunha every now and then. Ait Nouri, like decent player. Obviously they're great players. They're just having a bit of bad form in an average team, I suppose. Sorry, fans. I don't have any players from those 3 teams specifically in my FPL team. I think the only one I have is Harwood Bellis, and that's because he was 4 mil.
Okay, and conversely, I have a player from Wolves and a player from Everton. I have McNeil and I have Alt-Nouri. So I've gotten those budget picks that could actually...
That's the thing. Out of all the players, I would go for those 2 players. I just went with Concert before Ait-Nouri. Before Concert Rose. So, yeah.
Again, just out there, if you are looking at things, Alt-Nouri's got an amazing run coming up, and no one is saying he's there for clean sheets. He's there for assists at 4.4. You're not going to get a better option for getting assists. And Wolves do play very attacking football. It's just that their defense is so bad that they get really destroyed.
Yeah, basically.
It's like someone kicking the dog, man.
Just to double back, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you think Arsenal's capitulation, very fancy word, but also because they only barely won their Champions League game yesterday with an own goal, do they need Saka? Like, do you think they're struggling because they are Saka-less?
No. I actually have another opinion. I think they're struggling actually because they have no Odegaard.
Ooh.
I think Odegaard was the linchpin in this team. I think they've had some lucky wins, like some of those wins that you benefited from when Havertz is scoring late goals
In the
and
90th
Saka's
minute,
coming
yeah.
late, like the late goals that they've scored. I think they could have dropped
It
a lot
has
of
been a
more
bit lucky,
points.
yeah.
And their defense kept them going. Saliba Gabriel partnership that's now stuffed up kept them going. But I think without Odegaard, I think the whole like midfield seems weaker.
Yeah.
They control compared to last season when they were so much in control of everything.
Mm.
Now this season, they don't seem to be in control of games. And I think that the sooner Odegaard gets back, the more in control. And actually, we'll see Saka actually. I think Saka's brilliance is dependent on Odegaard controlling the game in the middle. It frees up Saka. So you are right. They are reliant on Saka, but more than that, they're reliant on Odegaard.
Yeah.
Odegaard to Saka is like KDB to Haaland, or Palmer to like. I know he doesn't get the points, but he really makes everything tick in that team. So that's my opinion on it. It's like not from an FPL point of view, but Saka will be better when Odegaard is there because Saka will get more of the ball in open spaces because that's what Odegaard does.
As well. So.
We're marking him. He'll be making those passes. He'll be pulling the play around as he sees fit. He's a maestro. And remember, he is also their captain. And he's actually their captain.
And then to double on that and go to the other side of the derby, the rivalry, and we talk about Spurs, who's actually found themselves in a bit of good form recently with the emphatic win, should we say, over the weekend. Unfortunately, Pedro Porro, Brennan Johnson, none of them on the score sheet.
and Solanke, don't leave out Solanke.
Sorry, shut up.
He's in your team, bro. Just some bad news on Solanke. I don't know if it was a good pick. I don't think I would have gone for him. My reasoning is that he doesn't seem to have many. He's a good team player,
I agree with
but he's not. He's not having shots.
No,
he's playing deep. He's not in the box enough. It's almost as if he's dropping deep and he's allowing the wingers to run ahead of him, and he's not really getting involved. It reminds me of Firmino from when Liverpool had Firmino and Salah and Mane on either side of him.
Nine most of the time instead of that poacher striker. Yeah, I definitely think that's probably one of my weakest plays of the year so far. My mentality around it was I can't afford Son, so let me just try and cram as many Spurs assets into the team as possible. And unfortunately, not a single one of them hold. Son did, so burn. But like I said, I'm going to not react to the situation. I'm going to stick it out because he does have good fixtures. So I can just hope that we have a little bit of a Bournemouth Solanke coming up. But yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that now, Nate. On the real. What went wrong with our teams this week? Give me like a minute. Give me a minute of what went wrong for you, and I'll try and jump into because it went wrong all over the place.
So the big highlight is that none of the premium owned players hold. That's number one. None of the mostly owned players hold. Like Saka was injured, so didn't play. Haaland blanked. Palmer blanked. Salah was the only one that scored. But if we're talking percentages, like Palmer's owned more than him at this point, and he didn't score. You had your Mbuemos, your budget premiums, blank. Johnson, everyone brought him in, blanked. It was like the alternate picks that should be the main picks got all the goals. You know what I mean? Like we're picking Johnson, but Son should be the pick. But we're picking Johnson because he's on form, but then Son scores. We're picking Palmer because Palmer's the pick. But guess what? Jackson goes and scores. The other pick. It's like all these weird things are like all happening. That's number one. And number two, I still think I got burned by the gods because I bragged. That's definitely a case. But I mean, looking at my team, looking at the team of the week, right? I'll just list it off quickly. Starting with Archer in the front, scoring 9 points. Who has that man in his team? Hey, who has that man in his team? You got Garnacho for United getting you 10 points. You got Basuma, a defensive midfielder for Spurs, scoring you points. Salah, obviously, and then Curtis Jones. Jones, who? Why? Why would you bring Jones from Liverpool?
I mean, he started ahead of McAllister.
Yeah.
World Cup winner.
No one would have thought this. And then, I mean, you've got Master Sensei, Senpai from Bournemouth giving you 9 points on the bench. Keane from Everton scoring 14 points. Sals from Forest in goal getting 11 points. And then obviously the Gvardiol and Stones. But guess what? Goals, not even clean sheets. It's like nothing was expected. Nothing was written. This is all just rogue.
I think if I was going to give anybody out there who's feeling a bit low like us any advice, it's that you build your team for the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
You make a change at a time for the next couple of weeks. Yes, we can't control everything and we've all had a bad week, but it doesn't mean next week's going to be bad. Calm down, take a breath, make a move or two to get yourself back into the game, but don't overthink it because it's one bad game week is not 4 bad game weeks.
Yeah.
When you're going to run a 4 bad game weeks, then I'm like, listen, you need surgery. But right now, we just need a breath of fresh air and get through this next game because the Premier League is intense. The midweek fixtures are intense. I think the lesson learned for me this week is when you come out of an international break, that has an impact.
Rogue fixtures, rogue results, yeah.
So next time we come out of international break, be prepared for the unmanageable, unpreparedness events.
Expect the
unexpected. Be prepared for that's it. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. Be prepared for anything and anything goes. Now, I know we both failed in our plans. Mine's worse because I played my wild card and I got 36 points. So I'm gutted. I went with the Arsenal double up.
Me with the 55-pointer wild card, but
I'm gutted. I did the Arsenal defense and then they dropped. I got Lewis over Gvardiol, which was my biggest decision, and Gvardiol's now scored twice. And I dropped Salah in favor of having Saka and Palmer, and both of them blanked. So overall, really bad week. But I wanted to ask you about what we should do to fix it, and I wanted to give you ask your opinion on what I should do. Now, I'm thinking about selling Saka because I don't think Arsenal are looking in a good spot. He's red. He's dropped in price, and that's a lot of money. And I'm not touching Haaland. We'll talk about that later. Saka is the only big money player in my team that I could look to move on to capitalize this week. What do you think about a replacement for Saka? And I can't afford Salah. What rises in the east, Nate?
The sun.
The sun. Now, Sun did not train this week. Sun is what everybody who's transferring out Saka, they are bringing in Sun. Spurs look like they're in attacking form. Sun is clearly in attacking form since he hauled. They are playing a weak Crystal Palace and they have Ipswich later, 2 weeks from now. So we do have Sun as a ready-made replacement. However, the only downside I would say, he did not train yesterday or today, whenever you're watching this, Tuesday, Wednesday, he has not trained. And so I will wait on that one until I know for sure that he's ready. Because Ange Postecoglou doesn't really beat about the bush. He'll straight up say,
"Yeah, there's no tactics with him. He just tells them."
He'll tell you.
Yeah,
it's not like Arteta who is second guessing.
It's a good shout, and I'm glad that you're suggesting this because I think my brain is a bit bamboozled at the moment because I'm still trying to recover. I have like PTSD trauma from last week, but that is a great shout. And at 9.9, you're saving a mil or saving 0.1. And when Saka drops to 9.9, you've gained that one again. Because Son's going to rise because everyone's going to move to him. So I like that shout a lot.
Outside shout. Okay, forgive me for this. Garnacho. He's got 4 out of 5.
Thank you so much for watching.
4 out of 5 really good fixtures, and he's on form. He looked so good on left wing, so much better than Rashford. They pushed Rashford on the right and put Garnacho on the left. He owned it, and I'm sad to say, but I have my feelings about United. But Garnacho is actually pretty good. United have the potential to hurt, and at 6.2 million, if you are looking for a cheaper differential over the next 5 weeks, I think
Garnacho is single-handedly keeping Ten Hag in the job. To be fair, and Garnacho, for those of you that played a wild card with money in the bank, you could upgrade Smith Rowe to Garnacho. You could downgrade Mbuemo to Garnacho.
You could swap out Johnson.
Yeah. Only thing I'll say though is maybe don't downgrade Mbuemo too soon because he's got a great run of fixtures coming.
I'm going to say this out right now.
But Johnson.
Mbuemo is untouchable.
I agree.
He must be in your team, and he's a sit there and leave at that price point and his points output. Something weird happened over this last United game where they pushed him out to the wing rather than having him as a striker.
I think they were preparing for Wiesa because Wiesa's back.
He came on. Wiesa came back, but it didn't work, right? I think if Wiesa's on the field with Mbuemo as the number 10, then yes, it could work. But what they did was they pushed Mbuemo out to the wide. He hardly got the ball. He wasn't involved. I would have rather them just let Mbuemo be the striker and then pull him back when Wisa is ready. So something to think about with Mbuemo, you're right. Is he still vital at this point with Wisa back? We're probably starting next week. And I would say yes.
Yeah, I
he's
agree, because
probably
we saw their link-up play earlier in the season.
Yeah.
They're scoring goals.
In fact, it means Visa is now an opportunity to bring him back into your team.
Well, that would
if you don't have Mbuemo.
That would be the other shout, is that maybe I make two moves. It's damage control, but maybe I take out Solanke, put in Wisa. Take out Saka, put in Son. So
another player I'm hoping injury wasn't so bad, even though he had a gas mask on when he left, but I don't think it's that bad. And we'll double check his Welbeck. He scored. He got the points. Saved me from my bench.
Welbeck versus Pedro. He's been the one.
Listen, they got Liverpool and Man City after this next game, but before that they have Wolves. So if he can play against Wolves, and we know Wolves' record, I'm keeping him. And again, this is why it's important to have a really good bench. I know a bench saved you this week as well, but like I had Welbeck on my bench, and Saka not playing meant
Welbeck came on.
Welbeck came in with his 9-pointer.
This is why you got to have a good bench, everyone. Got to have it.
Game week 1, no bench. The weakest players you can on your bench.
Yeah.
After your second international break, rotation is in full swing. You gotta have a bench. All the players are playing, maybe not your second goalkeeper. That's the only one that I would leave the money out on, and possibly one defender. But at this point, we know who the 4.0 defenders are that will be starting.
Yeah.
Hardwood, Bellis, a couple of them from Leicester City as well. Justin's up there. And Face. So, keep those in mind. Nate, last but not least, tell me what you were captain this week. What are you doing? Tell me so I can match you. Just joking.
Definitely. Nah, I still back a Haaland captain. I know he's been unrewarding for the last 3 weeks, but having scored midweek and playing Southampton at home,
and KDB could be about to come back.
This was the conversation we had about when you should play your triple captain next.
We talked about this fixture.
This is the fixture. So, if I had my triple captain, I'd be a bit more hesitant because of his form. However, this is the time for Haaland to say, hey, just by the way, I'm still the best striker in the Premier League. He has a hat-trick in the world. He has a hat-trick. Thanks for coming. So, I see it this weekend. So, for me, this week, it's Captain Haaland.
Everybody doesn't know this. I'm the most stubborn person ever. And I'm kind of like the type of person that I'll keep hitting my head against the wall till the wall breaks. And I captain Haaland, and he blanked so many times in a row that my logic tells me just keep captaining him. Because eventually I'll break through that wall. And this is the week. Okay? Yeah. This is the week. Yeah. So Haaland captain, best choice. I think Saka is definitely not one. I think Liverpool and Salah is also definitely a tentative one. Yeah. I think Son's definitely a captain choice. It would be a second option for me. Son would be
as
that
well,
second.
Because of the Ipswich at home fixture, and Ipswich just don't keep clean sheets as well. And if Mbuemo can find form, he's a good differential to pick for this game week.
If Son is fit, then it's Son, Haaland, and Mbuemo as our top 3 captain picks. Would you say?
Yeah, I agree.
Outside pick Welbeck if he's fit.
Outside pick Welbeck. Watkins as well, playing against Bournemouth at home, so he would be a good outside pick as well. And I'm going to throw a bit of a rogue one in there, but just to maybe burn you a little bit. But if you really rogue, you could say Gvardiol.
Listen to this guy. You see what he's doing? I'm suffering enough. Just end this thing.
Imagine Gvardiol scoring a brace and insisting Haaland's hat-trick or some random rogue stuff like that. It's possible. It's possible. It's very possible.
I think if I'm correct, and if
Gvardiol's
I'm correct,
XG or assists or...
No, I'm just looking at it, the match today with
City played.
With City played, and if I look at the starting lineup, I'm just going to double check something because I had this feeling in my head. Yes, Gvardiol didn't start. That's what I was looking at, double checking. Gvardiol did not start that game, which means he's a cert to start.
So he's definitely
ready. He's rested and he's ready to punish me and make me hate my life. But anyway, I think that's all we have time for.
Yeah, I think that covers it. To sum it all up in a few words: number 1, don't be too gutted. Shit happens. This is just one of those rogue weeks. Number 2, stick to your plan. Come up with your plan and stick to it. Don't divert. Don't make panic changes. Number 3, Captain Haaland, I suppose. And number 4, subscribe. Subscribe to this podcast because we're still doing well. I'm still doing all right. Mike's catching slowly but surely. But we have good content, and that's the main thing. So you should subscribe, tell your friends about us. We sincerely hope that you have a better game week than we did last week, because it was horrible, and we would not wish that upon anyone. Not even our Man United friends. But nevertheless, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. May the points be ever in your favor as always. And good luck.
Cheers, guys.